So this particular talk this morning is designed to be proactive, not failure focused. Because even though we're going to talk about relapse recovery, um, I want us to say, okay, when the eventuality happens, or when it may happen, or maybe it'll never happen again. Hallelujah. Um, what's the best recourse? Because sometimes when a person struggles and has a bit of a relapse, it just spins them in a really negative direction, and it just gets worse for maybe 2 or 3 weeks, and then, oh, this is stupid, I got to pull out of this. And so, having helped so many men through this, my goal is um, to talk through, if there is some kind of relapse, what's the best thing to do. And so yeah, we'll walk through this. You have it there, and I'll just expound on those points. This is more of an instructional piece, not a particular Bible study piece. So I'll be referring to the scripture throughout, because most of these principles are biblically based. But this is really about when you do have some kind of setback or fall or whatever, what is the best way to rebound from that. So there's where we're going. So first of all, the idea of fall forward. You got to learn all you can about your triggers and your cycles. Triggers, what got you going. Cycle, I'm starting to see a pattern. And so, it was the trigger emotional. I was feeling discouraged, or I was feeling rejected, or I was bored, or I was lonely, or I was angry. Like start to understand the triggers. Maybe it's a certain location. One guy I worked with, there was a tempting location on the drive home from work. And I just said, well, that's easy. You can no longer drive down that street. I don't care if it's an extra 5 minutes home. You can't drive down that street. You just can't, because even if you don't stop at that place, you have been triggered and tempted so many times in that direction that you're going to steer away from that. So learn all you can, realizing you're battling a very strong foe who doesn't want to let go of you. And I'm going to talk about that in number 3 in a minute, but you got to learn from your failures. That's why I say fall forward. Okay, you fell, but we're going to fall forward. And I'm also going to put something else in there. Here it is. Let me see here. Yeah, I'm going to put what I have called a relapse report in that side bar. And where is it? Get in there. There we go. And you can see the whole point behind that when you open it up later, is to again analyze, fall forward, learn all you can about any relapse, because it's imperative that we learn from our mistakes. We have to learn, rather than mistakes just create despair and discouragement, whatever. And so when you find what an entry point is, like I was tempted by this, or I had access this way, the idea of shut the back door, whatever the access point is, shut the back door. If you finally have to admit, okay, I got to get covenant eyes on everything, or, I found, one of my kids' cell phones and I got on it there, or my wife's iPad. Okay, you got to talk about that. And so whatever it is, you just got to, okay, I got to fall forward. I got to move ahead and learn all I can about it. Secondly, face your demons. Now, most of us that battle with this have been struggling with it since, early teens, sometimes earlier, very rarely after 16. We've already run into porn and been acting out with it. But face your demons is to work to get behind the why of your acting out. Like, what inner pain has been unresolved at this point? What is it merely a biological addiction? And it may be merely a biological addiction, but but maybe there's unresolved hurts, some needs that aren't being met. Maybe it's a lie you're believing. Maybe it's a justification you're making. Because many times we justify with, well, it's it's a it's a hard thing, and almost excusing it. And so we got to face our demons. What's behind it? What's driving it, as best we can understand it. Thirdly, this is an interesting one. I don't know that I've spoke about it in this way before, so bit of a new thought for me, but it's a double front battle. On one hand, you are battling addiction. I describe over and over the grip that the addiction gets on you when you have repeated use of the cycle, porn, masturbation, orgasm, or whatever acting out behavior you've had. When you have repeated behavior that way, it actually gets a grip on you, the addiction, because it once you act out, it hits the pleasure center of the brain, and it signals all kinds of greatness, awesomeness. That's how it's so addicting. And so you are battling an addiction, true. But you're also battling Satan, who does not want your freedom. Because freedom means that you are going to be a man of integrity. Freedom means you're going to be able to lead your family well. Freedom means you're going to be able to serve other people with a sense of honor and authenticity. And he does not want you free. He does not want you to be a good example to your family. He does not want you to lead a Bible study or care group. He does not want you to take a stand for him, for God. The enemy is on the warpath to take you down. But we can't just blame the enemy, because you have addiction that's already got a grip on you. And so it's a double front. So what do I have to do to deal with my addiction better? And what do I have to do to ward off the attacks of the enemy better? And so that's number 3. Number 4, get on your knees. And I'm telling you, last night I was with somebody that's very dear to me. And when I went to say goodbye, I was at their house in a bit of a consult, helping them through a bit of a hard time. And when I went to pray, I got on my knees on the couch and held each of their hands, and I just wept and prayed for them. And there's something about actually getting on your knees. Be humble enough to get on your knees, but ask God to break your addiction, admit your sin, know his forgiveness, and walk humbly, but don't walk in the failure. Don't prolong getting things right with God. We sense that our failure will be God's rejection. And God loved you, it says so clearly in Romans chapter 6, while you were a sinner, while you were his enemies, and while you were helpless. He loved you in that mess you were in. So as you started to turn around and start following him, he's not going to quit loving you because you screw up. He recognizes your humanity. And so, but come back to the Lord, get things right with him, seek him first, put him first in your life, and walk humbly in surrender to him day to day to day to day. So get on your knees and make things right with God. Number 5, I stopped here at 6, but there are so many negative emotional reactions to a setback. And if you have a relapse, a setback, and go with these negative emotional reactions, the impact of your setback actually is amplified. You won't be able to get back on track. You won't fall forward anytime soon, because you're stuck on these negative emotional reactions. And here's a few. Poor me. You feel sorry for yourself. This actually doesn't create a turnaround. It actually delays it. But this is so hard. I mean, I had a gentleman tell me, well, you have no idea how hard my addiction is. Like, it's different than the other guys. and he's not part of this group, but it's different than the other guys. My addiction is like really, really strong. Like it's, you know, do you see what I'm saying? It's like there's some exclusiveness about your battle that makes it, well, you know, if you knew how hard it was for me, you'd have a little more grace. And there's a lot of poor me. Um, and the next one about blaming your spouse or other people, and well, I mean, what can I expect? And you know, we haven't had sex for a while. What can I expect? You know, she blew up at me last night. So what was I supposed to do? You know, see, like, and sometimes you actually blame the other person and say it to their face, and you know, psychologically, it tends to take off the pressure on us because we kind of project the blame to someone else. But it's dysfunctional, blaming others. Anger, sometimes the anger is at myself, and you do some kind of self-punishment, you know, or just you're really down on yourself, or you know, you go break something or whatever, or you can lash out at your spouse, or sometimes just generally at other people. You just got an angry edge to you, not gonna make things better. Often we have just despair. What's the point? I'll never get beyond this. This is crazy. You know, those kind of things are in the mix constantly, where we just, you know, feel discouraged, and we just, well, I might as well give up. You know, here's a relapse. The first thing you got to think is, well, I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet. I got some work to do because of this. And sometimes people get stuck walking in shame and withdrawing from spouse or others. You know, don't call it accountability because they don't want to feel embarrassed. They don't want to tell their wife because they don't want to hurt their wife. But the truth is, with every day that you don't tell her, you're lying another 24 hours, and you need to, to be open about it. But just walking in this shame and just feeling defeated, and even any version of excuses or justification only delays the hard work that you need to do. So basically, get at it. And so those are some of the negative emotional reactions that I've seen men jump into. Number 6, own your relapse openly. It wouldn't be a few women that say, I'm more bothered by him hiding it and lying about a relapse than about his relapse. Now, not that they're saying the relapse is fine, I'm good with it. No, but the idea of somehow, you know, if I don't want to hurt her. No, you actually hurt by the lies. And so take responsibility, you know, admit, apologize. And remember, the 24-hour rule is that you have 24 hours to tell your spouse and the one that you're accountable to, that you're working closely with, about it. And I just say the sooner the better. Like if you relapsed last night, then hey, one of your first calls today is to your accountability partner, and then, you know, the right time today to tell your wife, and to do that. Um, and so and an accountability team like this group here, you know, guys will come around you and support you and pray for you when those kind of things happen. Number 7, grow your empathy. Uh, Part of the addiction is all about me. It's a pretty self-absorbed, self-focused addiction, and it's, you know, a person who's addicted is not good at empathy. It's just we're just thinking about us, and so we haven't thought about the implications on others. We haven't thought about the implications on our family. We haven't gone there, and you know, even the implications on our marriage or being separated from our kids. We haven't realized that you know, these kind of actions have consequences. We thought we could get away with it. We thought we could just keep doing it and be fine with it. And so because we haven't been able to empathize, because we're so stuck on me, we're so stuck on you know, our selfishness. I call it ingrown eyeballs. Eyeballs that only look in at me. And so let the pain that you put others through grip you. You might recall one of the men that shared in the 1,000 Day Club uh, session we had. Actually, the guy that I've been tracking with the longest, over 3,000 days now. But he said, when I saw the pain that my wife was carrying because of this, how hurt she was, how angry she was, I just can't put her through that again. I just can't. And so the growing in empathy is a really critical thing because it makes you less selfish. And so keep in mind, though, as you empathize, realize as well that your catharsis. Now, catharsis isn't a normal word, but it's kind of like coming clean through disclosure. So when I purge myself through, I'm admitting, I'm being honest, and I get relief because I disclosed, I did what was right. It does feel right because it's clear in Scripture that coming clean is biblical. Sometimes there's a relief. I've told her, whatever, but we forget that when we tell her of our relapse and we get that catharsis, that release, that, okay, I did what is right, we now renew their trauma. We really cause some hurt. And I've had women say, oh yeah, this is great. He's coming clean. He maybe did a polygraph. He owned his stuff and everything. And he's all relieved, burden gone. He's lifted. He's kind of, oh, this is good. I'm going the right direction. And she says, and I got this huge dump load of baggage that I have to carry because of it. So realize, though, you need to be honest that you're actually re-traumatizing your spouse. And there's going to need to be a lot of compassion there. And just this week with a gentleman, moving forward, I said, look, and this isn't about a relapse. This is about broader than that. But remember that when she is triggered or reacts to something that is addictive behavior, whatever, and is hurt or angry at you or whatever, there's only one thing that's right for you to do. Honey, I'm sorry. This is all on me. We wouldn't be facing this. You wouldn't be carrying this if I hadn't had this addiction problem. I'm really sorry for the pain that it caused you. What do you need from me now? You want some space? Do you want me to hold you, tell you I love you like I do? But I'm really sorry. This is all on me. And how long do you say that? Well, start with 2 years and then go from there, because there's going to be lots of, and not about relapse even, there'll just be lots of triggers she has. And we got guys doing this one, 4 months in, I'm clean, I'm doing really good. And she gets triggered and you go, what's your problem? I've been 90 days clean. What do you want from me? Oh, that is so flippin' selfish. And we got to grow our empathy in the pain that we're causing. And that is a really good lesson. Number 8, up your accountability. Reach out before you act out. Reach out before. Why do you think we practice phone calls? Make a phone call, encourage somebody. Why? Because if you've done it a few times, you can grab your phone and you can call a buddy and say, hey, listen, I'm triggered. You can go to WhatsApp or our tribe and say, hey guys, I'm going through a tough time. But up your accountability. Reach out before you act out. So when you feel you're on a downward trend or whatever, just 100% reach out, up your accountability, up your support. That's the goal, whether it's phone calls, texts, coffees, whatever helps you prevent faltering anymore. Recovery is a team sport. Reach out before you act out. And so you've got to say, okay, I was stupid. I screwed up on the weekend, but I didn't call one guy. I didn't text one guy. There's no excuse for that. This team here is a caring group. We understand our stories may be different, but the pain and the addiction is the same. And you know, yeah, different ways we've acted out, but it's still the same addiction, and it has a grip on us, and we have to be strong for one another. That's why we have wingmen. So you need to up your accountability. And number 9, do the dang program. uh, you gotta fight by learning with great abandon. Do the step work. Learn all you can about addiction. Learn all you can about your dark side. Learn all you can about just even how the addictive mind works. You know, go through the scriptures, strengthen yourself spiritually. And believe me, uh, there is such a good process doing the 12-step program that it's going to really help you deal with things comprehensively. And it's not a, okay, I'll do it this week. This is like a year process or whatever, to really work through the 12-step program. And yeah, I mean, we've talked in the past about, you know, when are you free to move on from regroup where you don't have to come here anymore? Okay, well, at least 1 year clean and have done the program. So you've got the 12-step done and you're 1 year clean. Okay, you can maybe take a break from this group or lead another group to help other men, but do the program. Yeah. So when you ever struggle, falter, relapse, or whatever, this is the best things that you can do to turn things around. And and the sooner you get back into this group of things, the better. And and so my prayer is, first of all, that there won't be any relapses. But when you're fighting an addiction, it's not uncommon for there to be an occasional relapse or relapse early, and then there's a longer space between a relapse, and then farther, and pretty soon it becomes history, the tendency to relapse, because you've learned enough, you've fallen forward enough, you've faced more of your demons, you're growing with an arsenal of understanding about addiction and scriptural truth, and you're being anchored by God's truth, and so you're winning more often. And at first you're kind of floundering and faltering, and it's much easier to relapse. And you're so used to negative emotional reactions and excuses and all this stuff. And remember, one of my favorite lines is, power grows in secret. And so if you relapse and you don't get honest about it, the grip just holds you deeper. And power grows in secret. So break the silence, admit to others, and move forward. And I just am praying that these truths will help you in the journey moving forward. Now we're gonna discuss it together.